Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I wonder if Australia might be on to something. For as much as you may complain about social media, as much as I may complain about social media, I wonder if Australia is on to something. The Australian government will legislate a ban on social media for children under the age of 16. Can you imagine an America with no stupid TikTok challenges that kids are doing? No Tide Pod challenges. Can you imagine? No, I can't, because we would never do anything like that. But I'm just saying, Australia might be on to something. And if America told the truth, they would agree. Here's how I know. Because you already have the state level bans on certain apps like TikTok. You already have the state regulations where they have to have age verification in certain states. So you're already there. You as in America, you already agree with me, but you don't want to take that next step because of, freedom. Australia is presently trialing an age verification system to assist in blocking children from accessing social media platforms. And this is just part of a range of measures, and it's probably, arguably, some of the toughest controls in the world. Quote, social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it. That's the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. And he also cited the risks to physical and mental health of children from excessive social media use. Yes, we know that. Yes, physical and mental health. Kids sitting around on social media all damn day. Mental health, they're maladjusted. They don't develop the necessary and requisite socialization skills. They don't know how to talk to anyone. They don't know how to interact with anyone because they're on their damn phones all damn day long. And social media is just a portion of it, but it's a big portion of it. Quote, if you're a 14-year-old kid getting this stuff at a time where you're going through life's changes and maturing, it can be a really difficult time. And what we're doing is listening and then acting. I don't have any school-aged children, but I can see what school-aged children are doing. I can see how they're acting, how they are not performing as well as they could or should in schools. And I defer to you, Twala, because you're working with America's youth every single day. But I know what I see. I know what I'm experiencing. I know that these kids, yes, I'm broad brushing here. These kids are way too dependent on social media. They're way too invested in their phones. And I think that we're not that we're breeding psychopaths and sociopaths, but we're sure helping it out.
We are absolutely stunting the growth of America by allowing young people unfettered time on social media and unfettered time on their phones. It's bad enough for us as adults and the addiction that we have with our phones. As addicted as we are on our phones, just imagine how much more that is a problem for children whose minds are maturing, who haven't been able to formulate their own thoughts, who haven't been able to develop the requisite skills to communicate and have real interpersonal relationships with each other, when all they're doing is looking at their phones. Geez Louise, this is one thing. Look, Governor Newsom, if you're doing anything about helping our children, why don't you call the Prime Minister of Australia and say, hey, so give me the blueprints for that plan so we can do that here in California?
The communications minister for Australia, Michelle Rowland, said, quote, what we are announcing here and what we will legislate will be truly world leading. No argument there. Rowland said platforms impacted would be Meta platforms, and that's Instagram, Facebook, as well as ByteDance's TikTok, and also Elon Musk's X. It would also impact YouTube, which is a subdivision of Google and Alphabet, And just about every social media portal that we all love and use. And here's something I want to go back to what you were saying, Twala. It's not just that kids are still developing in a mental and physical sense that social media, I think, stunts that growth. Kids have more time than most adults. We have jobs to go to. We have kids to take care of. We have other responsibilities, which by and large preclude us from just playing on social media all day. Let's think back to when we were kids. We never had as much free time than we were kids. You go to school from 9 a.m. to maybe 3 p.m., maybe. And then you come home. In our day, we watch cartoons. Now, take out the cartoons, you put on the phone, and you're doing the phone thing instead. And then, you may do, was it? I think you were telling me, Twala, that kids don't have homework anymore for the most part.
Yeah, that's weird. That's so weird. How
does that work?
They do everything in school. They do these group lessons. They have these periods, and the way they're broken down, you have one entire period dedicated to doing homework because kids
homework at school.
At school.
So it's schoolwork.
It's schoolwork, but it's what you would do at home. But because of the complaints of us parent folk who are saying, hey, man, my kids are up till damn near midnight doing homework because you're giving them so much. There's no balance in between. They just say, you know what? You're right. No homework. What we're going to focus on is building them up in school.
All right. So let me go back to what I was saying. So they're in school on average, maybe 8 a.m. to 2 o'clock, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock, something around there.
Yep.
They come home. They don't have any homework. They don't have a job. Why? Because they're 12 or 13 years old. They may not have any parental supervision. Why? Because working folks like Twala and me and maybe Mark Ronner, we're usually working. And so we may not get home until some hour late in the evening. Like Twala Sharp, it'll be midnight. I'm not going to get home until 11 o'clock at night. Mark Ronner, he doesn't go home. He just sleeps here.
I just cruise around after work.
Were you like trolling for prostitutes?
Just like Taxi Driver.
Okay.
Like just like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver.
Okay, if we're going to leave that alone. But the bottom line is, I would then argue that kids have even more unsupervised, unstructured time than we did as kids. If only because we actually had homework. We actually had jobs. I don't know if kids have jobs today like when we were 15, 16
jobs.
years old.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say social media has an outsized level of impact and I would say time in which they're occupying kids as opposed to, because our distraction was maybe the Atari video game. That was about it, 2600 in television. I had television.
Well, at your villa, we didn't have any of that stuff. In the winter, we had snowballs, and that was it.
I had in television, and I was not rich. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, if you say so.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we have a Disney adult update. Remember, we told you how Disney was moving in a certain direction because of Deadpool and Wolverine, and people were upset about what was happening at the amusement park. Well, we have another update, and it kind of confirms we were right. This is not your parents' Disney. This is for the adults, the grown folks. Pretty soon they'll have sex shows.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Disneyland, once upon a time, at least in the vision of Walt Disney, was all about the family experience. It was supposed to be something where it was catered towards kids and family and not the adult experience. And that's part of the reason why up until 2019, Disneyland was considered a dry park. You couldn't buy alcohol anywhere except for the exclusive Club 33. And we all know that you can't get into Club 33 without really knowing someone. It wasn't available to the public. So you couldn't go to Disneyland and get liquored up inside the park. Now, people have brought in liquor and got liquored up, but you couldn't purchase alcohol. That was up until 2019. And all of it started to change, especially at Star Wars Galaxy Edge. The first bar, Olga's Cantina, opened in May 2019, and it served some alcohol. And I don't remember the year. It might have been the same year. But Blue Bayou Restaurant, they serve these hurricane cocktails and beer and wine. How do I know? Because I got liquored up on them when I went to Disneyland 3 years ago. All right, so I know alcohol has become more and more plentiful at Disneyland. And to that end, they've added alcoholic beverages to another restaurant. And it's going to be available at the Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for guests who purchase the Nighttime Gathering Fireworks Dining Package, which starts at $89 per guest. It includes food, a specialty drink in a souvenir cup, unlimited fountain drinks, and premium fireworks viewing at the Falcon Overlook patio. But that aside, the real story is there is more alcohol which is being served at Disneyland, and they're moving away from the quote-unquote family-friendly amusement park experience. Why? Because they're trying to appeal to a wider swath of would-be attendees. I know that there are a lot of fathers out there, and I'm not going to blame mothers, but I'll say fathers, who dread going to Disneyland with the family. They got 2 or 3 kids. They're getting on their freaking nerves. They won't shut up. They won't get tired. And I know the dad is saying, gosh, I just wish I could have a drink. And Disney understands that. And now they're offering more alcohol, and I'm with it. I'm glad that Disney is now coming into the 21st century. There's profanity at Disneyland. You have Deadpool and Wolverine. You have inappropriate sexual remarks in the Deadpool and Wolverine show. I like it. For me, Disneyland was always an adult park. If you saw what I did on Small World with someone who I'm not going to use their real name on the radio with, it's an adult theme park.
Small world, though, huh? Not the Matterhorn. You
Go ahead, give it to him. We'll wait. Okay. All I know is there were some very angry people at me on Small World when I was on there with my girlfriend. Completely inappropriate behavior. And back in the day, Small World, since you mentioned it, was a much darker ride.
I was going to say.
The lights were really down. And maybe because of hooligans like me, they changed it. There was what was it called? The People Mover? I think it was.
I remember the People Mover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tram?
It was kind of like a tram.
It was kind of like a tram, but it was also like a ride.
Yeah, it was like a ride. All I can say is grad night 1987. That was the night that I figured out that there's no ride that they can't see you. Because someone spoke over the intercom system with the camera, and they said, hey, you guys stop doing that.
Were you going for the full Bobert?
Look, you know how they have the Mile High Club?
Yeah.
This was like the 60-foot high club.
Okay.
We were getting it in. So when you hear the voice of God, I was like, hey, stop doing that.
Get that out of there.
Yeah, you can't hide from the Disney gods.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
But and I can only imagine what the technology is like now. They probably got like heat signatures and everything. They know where you are and what you're doing to see the silhouette of 2 people getting it in.
Black lights.
No.
Next day.
To check the
The next day after the fact when they try to clean the ride.
Yeah, Uncle Walt would be ashamed of you. Ashamed.
No, I think he would actually. The serious point is Walt Disney probably would not approve of what Disneyland has turned into now. And I think that's a function of it just being a corporation, which cares less about art and more about money, where Walt Disney was about the art of it all. Yes, it was a business, but I don't think that was the driving force for what he was creating with Disneyland. It was all about the fantasy. It was all about the experience for the child originally. And now it's turned into a playground of sorts, which is catering to a wider range of ages. If you ever go to downtown Disney, which is pretty much a part of Disneyland, you can't leave the Disneyland Hotel, and you know this, Tuala. You have to go through downtown Disney because they want to make sure that you have every opportunity to spend money. there's nothing but adult stuff there. Bars. It's a bar scene. It's basically a club in Miami. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. And the only thing they're missing are women in thongs. But I'm holding out against hope.
I don't think that's coming.
I'm the only one who wants to see some jiggling and some wiggling?
At Disneyland, I don't know. I don't know if I want jiggling, wiggling.
Uncle Walt wouldn't give you high fives for that. He didn't want that.
He didn't want it, but he's dead. Look, everything that's going on at Disneyland now, he wouldn't want any parts of. I think he would probably look upon Star Wars and Avengers and Marvel as an abomination. Honestly, because that's not Disney. That's just a property that was purchased and they folded into Disneyland.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think Uncle Walt would have been down with Deadpool.
No. I don't think he would have liked Star Wars at all, because it's Disney only by purchase, not by idea. It wasn't originally Disney, and it was not speaking to the same market as Disneyland. Disneyland in 2024 looks nothing like Disneyland in the early 1970s when I first started going. Not because of the rides and attractions. It's more a function of who Disneyland is trying to reach to get them to spend their money, as in all of their money. So Disneyland needs to listen to me. Since they're going down the alcohol route, they might as well just go all the way in.
You just coined a new word, alcohol.
Because I was trying to get ready to go somewhere, and it involves holes, and I got there too fast. But my point is,
you got to the hole too fast.
Yeah, the alcohol.
You got to the alcohol.
Yeah, it's
too fast.
It's like Caddyshack. It's in the hole.
Look at the time.
Can I get one more? No? Thank you very much. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. So alcohol, Disneyland. I want someone from Disneyland who's listening right now, because they are listening. Don't dismiss out of hand the whole strip club thong attraction.
Uncle Walt didn't want anybody to make it rain, okay?
Look, a lot of money is spent in a strip club. A lot.
And Small World was originally a very dark ride. He knew that.
He did it for a reason. Shake it like a salt shaker. Shake it like a salt shaker. Small World.
Is that your new pillow talk now? Hey, baby, you want to take a trip to Small World?
No. Do you know what I mean by salt shaker?
We got to go. It's time to do the news.
Stefan, I want you to find Yin Yang
I know what you
Twins
mean.
Salt Shaker. We'll play it for Mark when we come back.
I don't need it.
You do need it in your life.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Let's stay in the realm of theme parks. Six Flags is considering closing parks all across the country after its recent merger with Cedar Point. And Cedar Point, as the parent company of the Six Flags Magic Mountain, they're saying we don't need all these amusement parks anymore. So if you've been to maybe Six Flags over Texas or Magic Mountain, those parks, we don't know what is going to happen in the future. They don't need all 42 of them. And in a report published on Wednesday, SFEC provided a rough outline for its long-range plan titled Project Accelerate. And the project promised a comprehensive review of the portfolio to evaluate the potential divestiture of non-core assets to help reduce leverage. And I'm going to make a guess here. And I'm going to link it back to last segment's commentary, because we know that Disney, the corporation, is trying to expand its theme parks and also its real estate portfolio. They're trying to diversify what they do, because it's not going to be about just movies and television programming anymore for the Disney Corporation. And they're trying to broaden what the theme parks do to bring in more people. That should tell you that the theme park business is probably not as profitable. If you look at Disney's numbers, we talked about how the theme park revenue was down this past year. Theme parks probably are not as profitable across the board. That's part of the reason why Six Flags merged with Cedar Point That's probably why they're going to be closing down some of these theme parks, because I guess you can say the industry, the amusement park industry is not as profitable as it once was. Why? Because we have other places that we can go. There are other things that we can do. And if you're going to spend all this money at an amusement park, you're going to have to make it as appealing as possible to a wide enough age demographic where everyone will want to come. Because I remember, and I can't speak for you, Twala, after I hit the age about maybe 23, 24, I didn't have any reason or desire to go to Disneyland unless I had like a girlfriend or someone I wanted to take along with me. That was it.
It's a small world.
That too. But I'm saying it had no real appeal for me. It always had an appeal for the girlfriend, but it didn't have any appeal for me. Now it has more of appeal for everyone, because after like I hit 23, 24, I was maybe going to Magic Mountain. That was the only real amusement park that I was willing to go to. And now I'm at the age where roller coasters don't appeal to me at all. So you need to find some other reason to get me to go. Now, I may go do the family thing at Disneyland, but if you're offering more mature options like a Deadpool and Wolverine show, then I would be more inclined to go. And I think the strategy here is you can't do the same thing the same way and expect to attract more people each year, because there are other things. Look, I would rather stay home and save hundreds of dollars than go to a theme park, which is basically advertising themselves for just kids. You got to give me something.
Yeah. I think we talked about this off the mic. If Disneyland, say Disney World, was to open up an adults only bar, 21 over bar, have, people that work there dressed as flirty Disney characters, that would make a lot of money, and they don't have to be, yin yang twins, salt shakering with it, but it would be really, really dope if they did something in that vein.
What song did you say?
Yin yang twin, salt shaker.
Annette Funicello is going to rise from the grave and decapitate both of you.
Well,
Annette Funicello could drop it like it's hot. You want to see Annette drop it like it's hot.
Well,
she's probably one of the first you want to see drop it like it's hot.
I don't have to answer any of this.
Wasn't Britney part of the Mickey Mouse Club?
She was.
And look at her today.
Christina Aguilera was. Mm-hmm. But I remember Annette. A lot of people wanted to see Annette shake it like a salt
She was cute in 1966.
You know that, Mark. You know that.
You're both filthy animals. I can't believe we're even having this conversation.
Oh, okay, Mr. Small World. It's just me. Okay.
Hey, you brought that up, so to speak.
Maybe that was the wrong thing to say. The new Six Flags reported more than 21 million guests for the period ending September 29th, 2024, with an average guest in-park spending of $61.27, which is nothing. You can spend $61 at Disneyland on one meal for two people. No exaggeration.
Now, does this closure, and I've been reading this article, it wasn't clear, are they closing Six Flags or is Cedar Park closing Knott's locations? Because that's the merger.
Well, see, that's the thing. It could be either or, both and. I'm not sure. That's what, I think that's why we're talking about this from a general amusement park standpoint. And I think the shrinking of the industry has more to do with what's going on right now than anything. Look, all these things have to evolve or you become obsolete. And this is the way that they're going to evolve, because they have to reimagine an amusement park. Like we were talking about AMC having to reimagine a movie theater experience. And how movie theaters, here's the correlation. Movie theaters were not about kids anymore. They had to make it where you had alcohol. You had more adult feeling entertainment and accoutrement to get folks in there to spend that money.
Adults love accoutrement.
It's better than accoutre dad.
What are we doing?
It was corny, but it was funny. Thank you very much. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
and from time to time I may ask the guys in the studio what you're watching. Let me start with this. I finally got around to starting the Paramount Plus series, Lioness. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. And the best part is I almost never start a show with season 1 because I'm always afraid that they're going to cancel it after one season, and then I'm emotionally invested and I have nowhere to go and I'm just pissed off. But they recently dropped season 2. So for me, it's a good way to start. I could binge 2 seasons just about. I'll finish season 1 and, just about the time season 2 is over. It stars Zoe Saldana. It's really, really good. And
is that how you say her name?
Yes, and this is how I know. Because it has the little squiggly mark. I can't remember what it is.
Enye.
Above Enye. Above the N. And she doesn't always have it on her name in the credits. But this one, it's prominently featured. So I'm clear that's how she intends for her name to be pronounced. Because I've been saying Saldana forever, but it's Saldana.
I've been saying Mrs. Ronner. I just avoided the whole thing.
But does the long-suffering one know that?
Quiet, please.
I mean, you already said it on the air. So.
She doesn't listen to this show.
Would she care? Because my wife, she always goes on and on about The Rock. I'm sitting.
That's got to
right
make you feel good.
I'm not going to worry about it.
We just watched the entire Hell on Wheels series with Anson Mount, and
he's quality as an actor.
I got an earful about Anson Mount. My self-esteem is in tatters.
Not his acting, but just him, right?
Emphasis on the Mount.
The reason I was bringing this up is because the creator of Lioness is the same creator of Tulsa King. Taylor Sheridan. So it makes me want to go back and see what else Taylor is attached to, because obviously Taylor knows what I like in television entertainment. And this is the best part of streaming, because Lioness is violent enough. You're not going to get that on normal TV. Tulsa King is vulgar enough and violent. You're not going to get that on regular broadcast TV. So these are 2 solid shows. Solid shows. And if you haven't seen Tulsa King, I think you'd really, really enjoy it. It has enough violence for you, Mark, where you need it to be violent. But also, it's a gangster tale, but it's set in Tulsa as opposed to New York.
Yeah, I'll pick it back up. I picked back up The Penguin because of the 2 of you shamed me into it. I still am not sure if I'm enjoying it or not, but I think Kristen Milioti is terrific.
Yes. Just forget that it's connected to anything Batman and you'll be fine. If you look at it like it's like some Martin Scorsese gangster drama, you'll enjoy it even more.
It's her show, though. I mean, they shouldn't even call it Penguin. She dominates every scene she's in. Not only does she dominate the scene, she fills up the scene. And that's the only way I can describe it. Her screen presence is so tremendous, given how slight her physical build is. Yeah.
But it's believable. One, because, and I'm not really giving away anything because they let it early on, that she's coming from Arkham Asylum. So you know that she's been through some stuff and she's willing to do some stuff. And I don't want to tell you what that stuff is because they'll let you know.
Yeah.
But it's a well-written show, and it's not a comic book show because it's all about the violence and the vulgarity. It's just a tightly written gangster drama set in New York called Another Name.
Yeah, we were joking about what Uncle Walt would and would not approve of. I don't think old Bob Kane had anything like this in mind.
No.
Back when we were kids looking at, I think even before our time, all the covers with the Penguin and his gadget umbrellas shooting stuff at Batman and Robin. This is not that universe.
Look, Colin Farrell, he's going to get an Emmy. He has to get an Emmy. He has to.
I keep forgetting it's him. I'm like, this actor is fantastic. Whoever he is, I'm like, that's Colin Farrell in makeup.
It doesn't sound like him. It doesn't look like him. Obviously, it doesn't move like him. It's like, that's not the same guy from Minority Report. It just isn't.
No, I agree that it's an interesting performance, but I think he overdoes it like a lot of foreigners who don't completely get American accents.
all the kind of phony New Yorkisms and the accent, like saying toins instead of turns. It's really overdone to the point where it pulls me right out of it.
See, that doesn't bother me because I know that it still is in this universe which doesn't exist.
This fire in Ventura County, it really boings. Yeah, I can't stand that.
Mark, don't stop.
But he likes shows like Kung Fu. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Don't you even start with me on Kung Fu tonight. I won't. Look at the time. We got to go.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Trying to tell me what to do.
Whatever happens, we have got it covered.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.